Cognitive load. What is it exactly? It is a fancy way of saying that you've got too much in your brain occupying available resources, and because of that you don't think clearly enough. So the way that I always like to liken it, and I'm sure that you've maybe heard it from other people as well, but it's about how many browser tabs you keep open as an example. So if you think about your browser window and all of the tabs that you've got open up at the top, if you're anything like me, it's upwards of 30 at a time, something I'm always working on. But every browser tab that you've got open on your PC utilizes available memory, and you will start to see a degradation of resources and your computer starts to slow down. So the same thing happens with us, because the brain is not actually meant to store all of these short-term things and we're trying to remember them and hold on to them. It takes a lot of energy from us to do that. So because of that, you become fatigued throughout the day the more and more that you take on and try to remember of all of these different things that you need to do. All of us have got different life circumstances, and due to that we've already got some open browser tabs that we already have to contend with on a daily basis. This could be taking kids to school, making sure what you need to cook for dinner, shopping lists that you have to remember, anything to do with that you haven't necessarily written down and you're trying to store it in your mind. One of the things that you always need to consider is that the more that you start remembering or trying to remember, the more difficult it's going to be for you to remember further things that you need to do. And there are other tasks that come along your way on a day-to-day basis, and those are things that are outside of your control and they're going to take up space as well. So if you've already got your open browser tabs and you arrive at work and now people start giving you more and more things that you need to now start remembering, that's when the breaking starts to happen. So the easiest way that you can at least minimize this process is to make sure that it's out of your mind and somehow documented so that you can sort of forget it for the meantime until it's actually done. So the easiest way is to just write it down on a piece of paper, sort of like a to-do list, but that can also become a bit more of something that you need to manage. But getting it down onto a piece of paper, out of your mind, and then you've basically closed one tab. So you've made available more resources. So the way that I like to do it is I do what I call a brain dump, and that is when I start my workday, then everything that I need to do or know that I need to do, I start writing that down on a piece of paper, and then from there I start moving it around. Things that I'm going to do definitely to get done, things that I can defer, I can maybe put it across till tomorrow, and things that have come across my path that I don't actually need to do. And then as I get something done, I cross it off my list, and then obviously the task gets done, but also the crossing off is another one. So you've basically done two indicators of closing off that task. So that's a browser tab that then gets closed, and then you've got more memory available for the other tasks that are coming your way. Obviously, you need to call it quits at a certain point, but that is the easiest way to manage it. So now that you've identified that you do have this issue with cognitive load and it is affecting your day-to-day life, it is making you less effective than you can be, you need to start figuring out ways how to deal with it. And one of those ways is to either become more structured, but what I would like to discuss, and that's coming up in tomorrow's video, is how structure could actually make your cognitive load worse than better. So please look out for that, and then I'll be seeing you then.